Alrighty, this is hopefully our final ad hoc planning meeting for our town hall that'll be on the 27th. So let me pull up the agenda. That isn't it. So 10, 10, 10, 17. There we go. And share there. Okay. So you guys know the drill up here. For those in attendees, my name is Melanie and I'm the chair of the ad hoc committee, and we have John is here, Barbara, Chris Valier, Dan Dixon, and Angela Sumner. So the flyers, update on social media campaign flyer distribution, they are ordered at priority 1. I ordered 11 by 14, 50 of them. So I got the more thicker paper for poster type stuff to hang it. So hopefully, Herb said something about having them tomorrow for me. So hopefully he does. As far as the social media campaign, I'm thinking we really start, all of us, as much opportunity as we can, is start putting it on Facebook, especially starting, well, today's the 17th. I would say this weekend and next week, just every day, plug, 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 plug. So it's fresh in everybody's mind that last final week that we're just kind of taking turns, just like posting it at different sites, you know, on San Pedro pages. And, you know, and Chris will be posting it from our social media account for Northwest. And we just,
I would recommend also, if you're going to post, do it in such a way, like, you know, maybe include the flyer or whatever, but do it in a conversation way. Like, so actually write me, you know, make a statement, write something, and see if you can get people to engage with that. Because sometimes if there's just a graphic, you know, people will look at it, maybe they'll like it or whatever. If you say,
right,
you know, I'm going to be taking part in, or we're going to be running this thing or whatever, it's a prompt. I mean, I think you will get more engagement in terms of if people respond to you. Not only does that push it up in terms of priority on the Facebook group, because if there's a conversation, there's more traffic and more interest than if it's just a post, even if people just like it. So if they comment, it should probably become more visible to other people and hopefully,
right.
you know, generate some interest.
Angela?
What would be some good talking points to encourage as far as this dialogue goes? Like, I mean, should we be saying things like, come and talk to your local officials about recommendations for increasing public safety?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm just like, you know, I'm thinking we can steer the conversation in a productive direction as opposed to, are you angry about this?
No,
you know,
no, say,
we're going to get enough of that no matter what, right?
we're going to
right.
get that in public comment.
Yeah.
You guarantee we will. But what I think the biggest thing that we need to do is kind of say, hey, you know, come and be part of, you know, what you want to see changed in our parks.
Yes, yes, that's how I'm.
Because it's going to take a village in order to change everything. It really is. It's going to, this is just the beginning. It's going to take more than just us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
So yeah. Minute taker. Lydia contacted me today and said that she fixed her schedule and she'll be able to do this.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you.
So we will be able to have a minute taker. I was hoping Vic would be here tonight. Maybe that's the one thing that we can go over at that meeting, is how he's going to do the muting and unmuting and what he's going to do. We probably need to go over that with him.
I think Victor will be very capable of handling the situation.
Get on the page, you know, be on the same page as he's at too, so we're all kind of in sync.
Understood.
You know, with it. And just figure out how he
not worried about Victor too much.
Oh, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about us being able to know exactly how he's gonna do it, you know, because he has his own way of doing stuff, so. Oh, that looks cool.
I mean, it's, you know, kind of quick and dirty. I can mess with it a little bit. I just emailed everybody this, and so I may nudge the logos down a little bit or whatever, but basically just kind of want them out of the way, or I may also put them lower thirds on, I guess, what would be, well, screen right.
On what, the shoulder area, maybe?
Well, if I make them smaller, I can put them, you can't see where my pointer is. If I make them smaller, I can put them down in this area. Where's my hand there? Down there. If you leave them up top, then, you know, I mean, just looking at you guys more, you guys have more real estate usually in that part of the screen, and that's
Right,
kind of standard. Plus the name is opposite, so, you know,
right,
but something like that.
okay.
There, now I have room.
But yeah, you should all have an email with that in there now. So if you want to look for it.
So then discuss possibility of all of us in North having the background. Can Chris make it? That's was on the agenda. I forgot that I had put it on there.
See, that's just good planning.
Town hall format review continued. Okay, let me stop this and we will take a quick look at this just to make sure. What I want to bring up is, so there's two agendas. Let me open both of these. There is, oh, seriously, where did you go? There it is. Okay, so where's my share screen? Let me get, okay, here's the first one. This is the public's one that I'll add the Zoom content to, you know, up our regular stuff to it. And I'm going to add the stuff that we discussed last meeting about the, you know, *9, all of that, you know, how to public comment at the bottom for people that are on the phone or their computer. So that this is the public agenda. So now stop share. Let's do the other one. So this is the agenda that's going around to everybody. For us, this is our agenda. And it has all the questions that were sent to the different departments on it. So that you guys can look at this and know what was sent to them.
I've been reviewing the training information that Officer Ulmer sent, and it's very, it actually gets to very nuts and bolts in terms of like groups of officers patrolling an area looking for an armed suspect or whatever. But I can forward that stuff in case anybody else is interested. But in terms of that coverage, it's,
See, what's
I don't,
interesting, I'm going through some of that training, kind of the basics of it right now, because I'm doing the community police training.
well, no, this is more like groups of 4 officers with weapons drawn, like, you know, moving like literally like tactical shooting
Oh,
drills,
wow.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very like, it's very practical, like training, which is interesting because, you know, that's not hopefully the level of, I mean, it's not really relevant, honestly, exactly, but it goes from the overall like command structure type stuff of establishing an officer who's in charge of the, you know, whatever. And so it goes from the more broad organizational administrative stuff down to the very specific, like, this is how you call out a target and, you know, engage them and all that stuff. It's so it's thorough. It may, hopefully, I think it's too far into Louise as to what we'll have to talk about, but at least, you know, it's there.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna do something real quick here. Let's see. So there's that. And like I said, then there also, Ray said he was gonna invite somebody that he knows from the sheriff's department
Oh,
So
yeah.
this isn't on the agenda, but we'll kind of tuck it in there at the end if they do show up. But this, I have this for us. This is our agenda. This isn't a public agenda, this one with the questions. This is ours.
Melanie, can you forward this email to us? Because when
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not in,
This will come to everybody. This
okay,
is
I
your
just want to
guys'
have the
agenda.
questions to go over.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna finalize probably tonight, put all the Zoom info and all that in there. And this will all go to all of our panel people.
Okay.
All of
Great.
us. This is ours. The other one is the one, let's see. Then this one is the one for posting. And I
Right.
have to put the Zoom stuff in there. It won't have all of that in there. It'll just have this and then. Okay,
Thank you.
so then the next thing is on the agenda. Let's close these all and screen share. Discuss welcome and closing statements. So this is all new. I wrote something up and you guys will probably want to change some of it, but it's just a foundation to work on here. And if you like it, great. If you want to change it, fine. This is basically the things that I'm going to say, but I want everybody to basically adopt it, you know, to agree with it.
Okay.
So let me stop the screen share. I'm going to do something real quick though here.
While you're doing that, Chris, my background seems a little unstable. I don't know why that's happening.
That's the lighting in the room and your camera settings. That's just the, like, it uses some kind of AI thing to mask you off in the background. And again, how you're lit and all that stuff will affect how sensitive it is. So if I remember correctly, the way they say best to do it is to have, I mean, I actually have the 3-point lighting here, but basically if you have a relatively bright light, let's say above and behind your screen or whatever, like you kind of have it there, but if it's a little brighter and then the background is relatively dark, it makes it easier for the software to separate it. But it doesn't look bad. It's just, you know, depending on how you move, it can kind of things.
Yeah.
I
So
did
there,
Well, Chris is unstable right now, so.
Well, Chris has always been unstable.
I was gonna say.
I mean that in the best sense.
Since the
Hey, Melanie, on your questions and stuff, you know, where on the last ones we saw, sheriff only has 1 R.
Oh, I'll fix it.
yeah, 2 Fs.
We also have an attendee. Do you want to see if it's a student or if it's somebody with any questions or comments or?
Just
Yes.
me. Yes.
I think she's a student.
Hi, Rhiannon. Are you a student?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I didn't expect to get a cameo in this.
Yeah, you
Just
understood.
make sure your background is stable, Rihanna.
Oh, wait, do I have to be on camera for this?
from the-
No, it's okay.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
no, no, no.
you understand what we're doing, right?
Not entirely. This is the first
Yeah,
webinar I've joined for this. I don't know much about the neighborhood council.
this is what we call an ad hoc committee. It's a special committee that's been appointed by the neighborhood council president to for a special event that we're doing. We're doing a town hall on October 27th from 6 to 9 that's going to be on Zoom. And it's basically about, it was developed because of what happened at Peck Park, the incident on July 24th. But what has happened is we've gone beyond that and we're looking at safety in all of our parks in the harbor area and trying to really help the city departments with input and things that we can do to make our parks safer and open for everybody and accessible for everybody. And so this is a planning committee for that town hall that we've had several series of meetings to plan this to get it going for the 27th. And so, yeah, anybody else wants to add anything to that.
No, you did great. But yeah, you found yourself a planning committee but this is a small town government at work, small area government at work.
Yeah, it's a grassroots community organization that has some city oversight and city funding. So it's a way to get, where it's slightly more legitimate than just a bunch of people getting together, but it has a bunch more rules. So, it tends to be effective if and when people put long-term effort into stuff. But again, we put a lot of time in just to operate as volunteers who are subject to most of this, or if not more rules than paid employees do. So it's kind of that, it's like it's public service on your dime, which, again, there's good and bad things about that, but every once in a while we do something worthwhile. So.
And we're hoping to do something worthwhile with this.
Yeah, that's what this is.
And then quick question. So this is just a refresher. I do not live in San Pedro, by the way, but I go to a school there. I go to San Pedro High School. But just for a refresher, I don't remember hearing about, what was the incident with Peck Park?
There was a shooting on July 24th where 2 people lost their lives and several were injured.
That's horrible. Yeah.
And this happened within the boundaries of our neighborhood council. So we are attempting to create a dialogue with the people who have the power to maybe improve public safety in our parks.
That's interesting. So this is one of the jobs of the neighborhood council.
We're making it.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Well, we're hopefully inspiring you to learn more.
So this is the opening statement that I wrote, and that at the very start of the town hall to say, and I don't know. You're on fire, Chris.
Thank you. I've been putting the work in.
I think that's a compliment to your statement, Melanie. It's on fire.
What do you think?
I'm making notes. I mean, it's great, of course, but I'm making notes.
It's a big improvement, Melanie. A big one. Goals should not be capitalized.
Oh, I know.
That was one of my notes.
Nobody's going to see this. This is just for me to read.
Okay, all right.
So,
Well, still, for my eyes and sanity.
Your eyes.
Capitalization. Thank you.
Now, you'll be opening with this opening statement, but is this in addition to the lengthy detail you gave of
the ground
public comment and numbers of minutes and all that stuff?
The ground rules will be given before general public comment takes off.
And general public comment is at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's good to get into the meat of it first and
Yeah.
worry about the niceties of timing and stuff later on. Good.
This one, I felt pretty comfortable writing this part of it. It's the closing statement that I'm a little squishy on.
Okay, so the only feedback that I'm coming up with in the moment is I feel like the phrase alerted a concern is not quite right. Do you alert a concern?
You awaken a concern.
I
Yeah,
think express concern also could work.
good, good. Okay, the event time, brought to light a concern
Yeah.
or exposed concern.
What attention, what brought us to like, oh, there's a problem here.
Alerted us to a concern.
Alerted us to a concern.
That's fine.
And then this is for the town hall that's on Friday.
It's on
On the 27th.
next Thursday,
Oh, it's next Thursday? Sorry.
27th, right?
Yeah. So this Rhiannon will be my opening statement to everybody that attends the town hall, to welcome them and basically tell them kind of what
What we're
made us do this and what our goal was with it.
It's really cool. This looks really good though. I think this works.
And if you go to the town hall, you could say, I was part of the planning.
I participated.
Yes,
So are we all cool with this?
yes.
Okay,
I think it's good.
so the closing is the thing that I'm kind of like, it was hard trying to figure out. I think I captured everything that we talked about, and you weren't here because you were off cruising, Angela, but we tried.
For me?
Yes, you, but we, where did it go? There it is. Oh, Lord, help me. It's small, but yeah, I tried to capture what we were talking about at the last meeting. We felt that there should be a closing statement.
Hope. I don't know if hope should be capitalized,
Oh,
unless it's done on purpose.
Future editor and Rhiannon.
Oh, trust me, I love editing things. It's fun reading things over.
Same. Take time for change. I
Gain
don't
a
think
better
hard needs-
understanding of how the different city departments run regarding our parks.
Mm.
Oh no, I'm just
Correct.
reading.
Of how,
Yeah. Our hope is that you're able to gain a better understanding of how the different city departments run regarding our parks.
Yep.
yes.
Line 1, Melanie.
What? Regarding our-
Understanding of. Line 1.
Of how,
Mhm.
okay. The different city departments run regarding our parks and the process involved with permitting and enforcement. It will take time for change to happen, but with all of us working hard together,
You don't need hard.
huh?
You don't need hard. Working together.
And then also, yeah, but with all of us working together, we can also add a comment there if we want. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I like her.
In our park.
just we need to help in the community feel safer and our parks accessible and enjoyed by all.
Feel this is a helpful first step in moving forward with the goal of having safer, more usable parks. Thank you all for coming in this. Thank you all for coming, comma. There we go. That looks good.
Safe and more useful parks.
We can gain the changes needed.
Okay,
Oh, that was really good.
where, Dan?
Yeah,
In
where
the
is
middle. All of us working together, we can gain the
Oh,
needed
that's really good.
changes.
The changes needed,
The needed changes
gain
to
the
help the community
changes
and cut out we need. There you go.
to help the community. Okay,
And keep our parks accessible
okay, yeah,
and enjoyed by all.
okay.
Reverse those 2 words.
Huh?
Keep our. You
Oh,
put keep in the wrong spot. It's okay. Keep our parks accessible.
enjoyed by all.
Thank you all for coming. This concludes the hard. Reckon parks, plural, parks, end of the
Yeah.
the last line.
It's, yeah. Recreation and parks,
Yeah.
always.
Now, question.
Mhm.
The only thing that I didn't put in here is we're somehow in here, we have to put something about we will be sending you. To
Oh,
the
yeah.
city officials, we will be sending you a follow-up to what was discussed here tonight with an action plan or with recommendations. How do we word that? Where do we put that
We will
in?
be sending our city participants a
And
whatever.
where does that
whatever
go?
it is.
Here before the thank you?
Yeah, you definitely need to thank them for attending. Actually, I would put a whole second paragraph and just say,
Yes,
we'd like to thank our panelists and we will, I'm off the top of my head, be sending follow-up action items at, these time intervals. We're going to follow up at 1 week and we're going to follow up at 3 months. And
Panelists, and we will be sending out action items probably in the next 30 days.
okay, in the next 30 days and following up at such and such intervals.
30 days and following up at 90-day intervals. Huh? Do you think?
What do you guys think?
I think that's fine with comma after panelists.
Okay,
Yeah, we would like to thank our panelists and we will be sending out action items in the next 30 days, comma. And following up at, what's the rest of the sentence?
at 90-day interval.
That's good.
It might be good to, I mean, I think like something we should always mention, whatever it is we're saying, that this conversation and one's, sort of based on it or whatever, that this conversation will continue in our committees and issues committee and public safety. So we want to kind of drop a little promo for those committee things. And if people feel like, following up that week or the following week or following month or whatever, that they know specifically what committees to look for.
I need a booster seat for my desk chair. I'm like down here and everybody else is way up here.
Well, you can.
Oh wait, are you guys,
you
am
can
I
keep
on
your camera.
camera? I'm not on camera.
No,
huh?
you're not on camera. Don't worry.
Okay. And then quick question about this committee. What is ad hoc? What does that stand for?
It's Latin for something.
Is
It
Latin
just
for-
basically means that it's not a regular committee that's put together, in this case by our presidential decree, to address a specific topic that doesn't fall into the, the necessary
Oh,
purview.
I just Googled ad hoc. It is Latin for when necessary or needed.
Like I said,
You
Just
said it.
kidding.
Great.
Ray says go.
I guess I could try
So
that.
And I did send a final version. It's the same. I think the upper thirds looks better, and I made it a little smaller and moved it down so that it doesn't bump up against.
Oh, yours that you got?
Yeah, so I
Like
just,
whatever you did.
yeah, that's the most recent one I sent. Is I just I made it 16:9 so it fits the screens a little better, and the logos don't bump against the top of the thing.
I like this, that we all are uniform and have the same logos and all that and the same background. So we look like we're all super official.
Well, it might be a good idea to. I mean, I like having.
Because of these big wigs being there, I feel like we have to be like big wigs ourselves
And the
too.
other public agencies tend to have this sort of thing for that reason. When we were kind of mid-COVID, people were literally working out of their dining room. So,
Right.
Now, why is it I'm looking at mine and it's reversed?
your camera may be reversed. Like
It looks the same to me.
yeah, for
it's fine,
us,
John.
like,
And I
oh,
just
for-
figured out my shirt and my chair are the same color. I think that's what my problem
yeah,
is.
you need contrast. I mean, my chair is black as well, but you need to have
Yeah.
contrast between you and your
Not
background.
her clothes.
Because I see it, mine is on the right side. And it shows like it's in the mirror image, it's backwards.
Yeah, so I think there's a control in Zoom to to flip your camera. You might have had that checked because
Yeah, my kids had to do that to my camera.
yeah, yours because you look right side. Like I can read the seal and our badge properly on your thing. So if you're seeing it backwards, then it's got to be your settings.
So where would I go to that?
Setting.
Go to the camera and look at video settings
trying to put a shirt on.
And then under video, the video tab, there's a checkbox for mirror my video. It should be unchecked.
Hey,
See if this helps.
is that better?
That's good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm not shaking anymore.
There it is. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, we've
Do
got
we
our
want to
background.
say, do we want to say public safety and committee issues? Committees?
Oh,
Or do we want to say issues committee? Public safety and issues committee.
But that makes it sound like it's one committee.
Um,
and the issues.
Well, now it says public safety and,
Community Issues Committee. Oh, that's very wordy.
oh, well, public safety and
Now it
committee,
says,
well, just put committees,
and the
plural
issues
at the end.
Maybe this conversation will continue with our public safety and issues committees.
Yeah, there you go.
issues committee.
Yeah, this conversation will continue with our public safety and issues committees.
Yeah,
So
plural.
take out the.
yeah, I
but
think it's
it's
just better
still
to,
Sounds like one committee.
yeah.
And then pluralize committee at the end.
Committee.
Committees, there you go. Then it's not one committee.
Okay,
And can we include with, last line? The conversation will continue with our public safety and issues committees.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that sound good?
Yeah.
There we go.
there.
Committees.
What do you
Committees.
think? Are we good?
Looks,
I think so.
sounds good.
So let's see, save, make sure we save all of these. So, you guys, this is actually happening. We're getting down to the
Oh,
gritty.
don't want to interrupt you. A
Um,
lot of planning for this.
a lot of planning, and they and now we're on general public comment. I'm excited that and really impressed by all the work that everybody's done. I really am. We've really done a lot. Even some of the comments that I've gotten from some of the city officials and stuff already, they're like, wow, these questions you sent us are very involved and all of that, and et cetera, so they were impressed.
Well,
I'm
that's great. It's because we want to do stuff. We don't just want to talk about what happened. We want to make change in our community.
And I don't think you can understate how much they have to deal with, and not to be too uncharitable, the rabble. Like, there's a lot of public meeting for people basically just come to yell out stuff and to be angry. And regardless of the merits of their arguments or their beef or whatever, if you don't come to the table like kind of ready to do business, if you're like however it is you feel, you have to be like put together, you have to be collected when it comes time to communicate, or you give the other side an excuse to disregard you. So, if you want to come and scream profanities or whatever, it's your legal right to do so, but it doesn't necessarily serve your mission. And so I think that there's probably a lot of public agencies who see a lot more of that than they do of, people like us who put like this much time into being ready. Like, anybody can get excited and upset when something bad happens, but not very many people follow up by putting like weeks of effort into, like really bringing folks to the table. And hopefully, and I tell, people all the time, and my kids particularly, if you want to be taken seriously, then you have to take these things seriously. Like, you don't give people much of a choice other than to have respect for you by showing that you really respect what's going on.
Oops,
Mhm.
that's not what I wanted. Just
Hey,
And we gotta
Melanie,
make sure that
one thing I'm gonna put up that we didn't look at, but it was discussed at last meeting and we edited it. So you guys that weren't here, John and Angela, you can look at it. This was, this actually goes to the beginning of the meeting before the town hall starts. Now that I'm looking at the agenda, the rules, so they know how to speak in public comment. So this basically is press 9 during the meeting. We'll discuss the items listed in the meeting for public comment. When a member of public turns to speak, the moderator will announce last 4 digits. I think, Dan, I thought about this. This should be posted on the agenda with the agenda, but we need to, what I announce needs to be like cut down. Yes, I'm the moderator. I'll introduce myself, for moderating. Everyone listening to our town hall meeting, the secretary's muted everybody. If you were on a phone and need to speak, *9. And just keep it basic. You'll have 1 minute to speak. If you can raise your hand when it's to speak, but somehow this is what can go on the attachment, this part of it on the agenda for people to know, to see.
So you don't want to say all this out loud? Is that what you're saying?
This part, if you are calling, that part, not the top. But
Okay.
somehow we probably need to condense this down to a small little thing to let people know on their phone that they have to do *9.
Melanie, I think you've solved some of the problems from last week, because not only are you shortening it somewhat, but you're describing it in a very conversational tone. It's not a list of instructions. It's a roadmap of where we're going during the evening.
Right.
And
My
here's
big
how you can drive along with us.
that are on their phone know how to comment, and that there's only going to be a minute a piece, 10 minutes each section, and then a minute a piece and for general public comment.
Can you have this document posted before the meeting starts?
That's what somebody else said, and I'm not sure. I
Like-
guess I could go and open it up early and just have it, not this portion of it, but not this, but
Right. The instructions, have them on, start the meeting, share screen, have those instructions.
right. So the question is, what would I say? Would I remind them if you're calling
Yes.
raise hand option? During the meeting tonight, we'll discuss the items listed in the meeting. You'll have 1 minute.
Or maybe either at the beginning when it starts, as a reminder, if you're on the phone, press *9. If you are in the webinar, raise your hand. You will have 1 minute, go. Or you could also do that the first public comment
Right.
that happens, for the first time, say that and then move on. And if they were late and they don't know, I mean, most of us know how to Zoom pretty well by now.
You really should, and if you don't, then I think the first 10 minutes of our thing is not going to be the place to try and learn it.
Yeah, right.
And Victor will be quick with the mute button as needed, so
Yeah.
should be
This
fine.
is very good.
It's somebody who's going to make it,
Right here is all I need to say for the instructions.
A quick thing about the first line. For good evening, we could make it so it's like either good evening and welcome to the meeting, or good evening exclamation point or period welcome to the meeting, because
Good evening and welcome. It sounds good. And welcome.
I
to
love how Rhiannon just said we. She's in it now.
what now?
figured might as well have some fun
we
with
do
it.
have a NGO seat open, don't we?
What
Am
now?
I the only one here, or is it?
Yes.
No, there's 2 more people in
Oh, gotcha.
that's in
Good
the,
evening and welcome.
Oh,
to
did we
the-
get more? We need to get
Yeah.
their names out for students. Kira and Chloe.
Oh, is there another one?
2
Yeah.
more.
Oh,
It's a
I
full
didn't
house.
see it. Let's see.
Chloe and Kira.
And Kira. Chloe, let's see. Allow to talk Chloe. Allow to talk Kira. Chloe and Kira, are you both students?
Yes. Yes, I'm a student.
Okay,
Welcome.
welcome. How long you guys been here? What time did you get here? I didn't see you over there. Chloe and Kira? What time did you
I
log on?
got here around 6:10. This is Chloe, 6:20-ish.
Okay. Kira?
I just got in like 6:40.
Okay, alrighty.
I got on here around when it started, like you guys were still setting
Rhiannon,
up.
you were here when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good evening and welcome to the meeting. Welcome to, probably not the meeting, probably welcome to the
Public Safety Town Hall hosted by the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council.
welcome to the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council Town Hall.
Yeah, that's good. Is this going to be printed? Because if it is, you have to not capitalize welcome.
Oh,
in
no,
the
no,
first line.
I'm just reading this.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I'll be just reading this. My name is Amelia Lebrecq, and I will be serving as moderator for tonight's meeting. For everyone listening to our town hall, the meeting secretary has muted all attendees and will unmute speakers when they are called upon to comment.
Can he unmute? Is that something a host can do? I thought you had to ask someone to unmute.
No, he'll allow them to talk,
Okay.
and then they can unmute.
Okay.
Because what we're gonna have to do for this town hall is a little thing where he unmutes them, but then he's gonna have to revoke it, so they can't speak
Right.
unless they
Right.
wanted to speak again, because we learned this from the last town hall. We had a
Uh-huh.
lot of interceptors that kept talking over the top of other people speaking, and Chris will tell you that. And so I ended up found that little tool on that before we started doing it at the neighborhood council, where you can revoke.
Yeah, it's pretty important to actually dig through the menus and know what all the controls are for Zoom, because there will be times when it'll make the difference between having the meeting continue or not, you know. But yeah, having to dig for those buttons or whatever while it's going is very difficult.
Right, because the last town hall, we had a couple people that were talking over people when they were having their time to speak, and it's like, stop it, be quiet. You know, it's like, stop. And so I, as moderator for that, was looking, because I was doing the muting and unmuting, and Chris was hosting it. And I would manage to find the little tool that says revoke ability to talk. And I'm like, bingo, there we go. So yeah. Anyway, so what do you think? How should we condense this down? The other stuff will be posted here. This thing right here, here, if you are calling by phone, and that part of it. But we need to say something too for those that might forget to read.
Yeah, I would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just going to say the last word on this page should be discretion, not digressions.
Oh, there was another word. Hold on. I saw in one of the other things you posted that I remember thinking that's not the right word. Did we change that? I'll have to look over the email when you send it out. I would give a one sentence refresher to these items during the first public comment section.
Right, it's right when off the get-go, every section.
Yeah, the introduction, the update to the Peck Park incident is followed by 10 minutes of public comment. Right before you start that 10-minute period,
right on the
just
agenda.
give a quick reminder.
Right.
I think what
So
Angela
after the-
might be talking about was the sergeant at arms enforces parameters, not perimeters.
Yes, that was it. Sorry.
Where?
Although either
In-
one works, but it's parameters.
Parameters, not perimeters. It was on a different,
Yeah, it's very minor, very minor.
not to me.
Was it on something?
Thanks,
It was
Pete.
on. Which one was it on? The introduction?
I
No.
just read it today. I don't know where it was.
The first thing you pulled up, I think the welcome.
It was on my agenda, I think.
It was on the welcome, I think.
No,
Yeah,
no, I think it's on my agenda.
Okay,
Just a sec. Let me see.
sorry.
Where did my agenda go to? Oh, Lordy. Where'd it go? There it is.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. There it is. parameters.
Oops.
That's why we have a committee and not one person in charge. It takes multiple eyes.
Well, and one very bright student as well.
Yes. Who has a future. Neighborhood
What I wanted to bring up was the other agenda, the regular agenda, the way that it's laid out, format agenda. Oh, come on. So screen share. It's such a pain to have to do this. Stop share, screen share.
Random thing, but I like how Mr. Val keeps changing the background. It's really funny.
So the
Yeah,
way
once I start
it goes-
messing with it, it's too, tempting.
the welcome is first that we went over, then Ray's gonna say something. And then introduction of, I'll introduce everybody, us included. And then the town hall format and guidelines. So that's where we were saying we decided that it sounded too
Angus, get out of there.
ground rules, so we changed it to
Yeah.
town hall format guidelines. And then we go into the first public comment, with the update of the incident.
Hey, wait, this will be a Zoom, right? Maybe I might be able to participate on the Zoom of this when it happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we won't be doing anything in person until at least next year.
So yeah, it'll have all the Zoom information on the top of it, and then I'll add the other stuff to the bottom of it.
Okay, I'm wondering if for each item saying 10 minutes of public comment on agenda item, 1 minute each might be just a little bit too wordy, but I'm not positive.
We have
know
to
what I
tell them though that it's only 10 minutes for public comment.
Yeah, well, even just formatting, maybe if you just put a line in between those numbers to visually break it up a little bit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What do you mean? Do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
just a
yeah.
carriage return there.
Yeah, if we don't say it, then they're gonna assume they can talk all they want.
Yeah, I think, and there's, I think sometimes, and I feel that all the time when I see stuff, I think it's overboard or it's kind of pedantic or whatever, but like, there are people who will just nitpick and,
Sure.
Yeah, and the feeling when I went over this with Ray's, he says if you're making it only a minute, you gotta put down there that it's only a minute per person.
Uh-huh.
I think the time that they get for public comment, they do that at City Hall where they'll have each thing, only 10 minutes of public comment on this item.
And Victor can revoke the
Yes.
mute. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And he'll be good at that.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
He'll be excellent at that.
Yes. Visually, I would delete the hyphens after agenda items 3 on, because the first 2 need it because there's something that follows the
yeah,
agenda.
because there's nothing following them.
Yeah.
Oops. Stop.
One thing, can we like lowercase minute for number 7? 1 minute. I think minute should be lowercase.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, because it's the first word in the sentence, I would spell out 1 maybe. I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that works.
It doesn't bother me when it's 10 before with the parenthesis before it.
Although,
starting a sentence, it should be spelled out.
yeah.
That looks good. I like that.
Yeah. That works. And then just
By the way,
is
Victor's
this
other
like-
talent is he's a technical writer. He'd be
Is this
all
like
over it right now.
is this a flyer that's going to be posted
the
somewhere? Or?
agenda for the meeting.
Oh,
This is agenda for the town hall.
Okay, I think it looks good.
Yes, I think we're good. So now we're back to the other thing. So what I'm gonna do is we can edit this because it's already saved and name it something else. So this will go on the agenda right here.
So it's
Okay.
just basically just importing all of this and then we're taking that out from the speech.
Well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'll show you what I'm gonna do at the bottom of this agenda. Oh, come on. This has got to be smaller. There. So. Now I'm going to share it to you guys again. Let's see, stop. This is a pain to have to do this back and forth with Word documents, but it is what it is. Okay, no, yeah, see what I did?
Mhm. Okay, so on the paragraph that the second paragraph after the numbered list during the meeting tonight,
Mhm.
there I would make it a little more clear what 1 minute each means. There will be a public comment for 10 minutes after each agenda item with 1 minute allocated to each speaker, or a maximum of 1 minute per speaker.
I would say maybe there would be a public comment session.
Period.
Or period. Yeah, there you go.
Public comment period, right there. Yep.
Uh-huh.
No, not the
No, spell out the word, a public comment period. Like, there
Time.
you go.
There you go.
For 10 minutes, spell out minutes.
Okay.
After each agenda item with a
Mhm.
maximum of 1 minute per speaker.
Come on. Okay.
There you go. I think that's good.
Yeah.
You want to make public comment? Okay, this has got to go over. If you want to make a public comment. Computer, click the raise hand options. If you're attending by phone, you will need to press *9 on your dial pad. I don't know. There. For public comment, one and
Publix, yeah, S.
where the S went on that, I have no idea. Moderator announce either. That's where it
Speak,
is,
comma, add a comma after speak.
comma, the moderator will announce either the last 4 digits, telephone number, or state the person's name. Zoom moderator will unmute the speaker and ask that they state their name for the record and proceed with their comment. When the time is expired, the moderator. So it's not going to be the moderator because I'm the moderator. It's the,
Oh,
so we have to fix that too. It's going to be the timekeeper.
Yeah.
well,
Huh?
Yeah, I would, if you use timekeeper, then people aren't gonna wonder what that is. If they say sergeant at arms or whatever, then they'll.
be like, who? You could just say Victor. He'll love that.
A few things. I know we're trying to condense this, but I think definitely a few commas could help. If you're calling in by phone, comma, because if you use the webinar number to log in with a comma.
What now? Where?
First line at the very top.
You're
If you're calling in by phone, comma. And if you don't see a raised hand, line 2, comma, hit ESC and go from full screen to see raised hand option.
After feature.
No,
To the right of the same line.
yeah, if you don't see a raised hand, comma, hit ESC.
Okay.
There you go. During the meeting tonight, we'll discuss the items
Also,
listed.
there's an awkward paragraph indentation in the first section of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's
there
very
is.
wide.
Oh,
Whoa.
what did it do? Son of
Whoops.
a gun. It's
Weird formatting glitch.
again. It's gonna start doing it again. Because I cut and paste. Oh, geez.
This turned into a disaster.
Okay, what we're going to do is
There
this,
you go.
and come back here. Yeah. How's that?
There we go. That works.
Wait, no, there's still an extra space there.
Oh,
Where?
Not
the-
before the
behind it?
I. There you go.
There.
I feel better now.
Oh my goodness. So we're moderator, we gotta change this one to timekeeper. We'll announce last and Zoom participant, let the timekeeper.
Are we spacing timekeeper? Or are we keeping it as one word?
What?
Are we keeping the timekeeper? Are we keeping that one word or two? Okay.
It's
think-
one word.
I think one, although consistency is the most important. And there's another moderator right there on the second to last line in that paragraph.
Yeah. When the
The
time has
timekeeper has expired.
when the time has expired, comma. We
Yeah.
should put a comment after that as well.
Yeah. When the time is expired, the timekeeper. Whoops.
Oh,
Let-
ah,
There we go. Timekeeper will meet the speaker and advise that time for
Hold on.
comment has concluded. That works. General comment at the end of the form you may provide. In general comment at the end of the form, comma. I think that's in general
What?
for first sentence, last paragraph. In general comment at the end of forum, you may provide your comment during the general public comments portion of the meeting.
Right,
First line, end of forum. We should put a comma there.
okay.
and add at the end of the
Oh,
forum.
I didn't catch that one. Good catch.
Thank you.
The forum, yeah. You may provide your comment during the general public portion of the meeting. General public comment is limited to 1 minute maximum per. We said something else.
Wait, scroll up just a tiny bit. The pictures are covering the other way. I can't read the last line.
Oh,
Oh,
where?
your picture, your lovely, lovely picture is covering it on my screen. Additional opportunities may, and then it's just Melanie.
Do you have me pinned or something? Did you hit a pin or something?
Can I not make that go away? Oh, there you go. You're gone now. Okay. At the moderator's discretion, and I don't think it needs to be capitalized, but it does need an apostrophe before the S. And then delete the capitalization. Oh, is it timekeeper? Or
It's moderator. I get
Yeah.
this is moderator. Okay, you
Yeah.
have the power in this section.
because I'll be watching the time and knowing whether or not we have more time for public comment to go around again. And I'll instruct Victor to start unmuting people.
Okay, and then just to be super clear, I would add an until 9 p.m. at the very end of that sentence.
On the moderator's discretion until 9 p.m.
Yes, when the meeting ends and we're shutting this down.
Is the moderator still the timekeeper, or is this a different?
No, it's
person?
me. And time
At this point, we're back to Melanie.
Yeah, the moderator is going to be the chair of the committee and is in charge of the meeting. The timekeeper is really just about the time and access to the mic.
making sure that they don't talk over their minute and people are called on in the way that they raise their hand.
Right. In the order.
Okay, and then in the interest of consistency, I think that in previous times when we've referenced the time, there needs to be a period after P and M.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's where it is on the other,
Okay.
like, if you look above 9 p.m., there's a period after P and M. Oh, no, at the top it isn't. We just got to pick one and go with it.
Where is there one?
If you look at the very
Oh,
top,
here,
the heading,
right here.
there is one, but then if you look at the very top of the document, 6 PM to 9 PM, there's no periods at all. And I don't have a preference
Why
for
don't we
which it is, but I just need it to be
just do
consistent.
PM there.
So are we keeping the period at the end of the, oh yeah, it's because it's a sentence, it's not parentheses.
Yeah. So how does that look okay?
I think it works. It's a sentence.
got 'em all.
It's not in a parentheses, so I think it works just fine.
Now, should I leave this lighter than bold, like the rest of the agenda, because it's different, it's not part of the agenda? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think we should keep like the main, this paragraph stuff, we should keep it thin because it's not like the main talking points. It's
Right,
it's just more instructions.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Because there's more instructions that go to this that we have to put, excuse me, on for done too, remember?
I'm wondering if we could possibly have, maybe for at least for the evening of the meeting itself, have this page or a generic kind of instructions page, have Christina make it at the front page of our website, so that, if in doubt, go to nwspnc.org, rather than have people like fumble around or ask questions or have stuff within Zoom. Just let them, like, they have the website, they can pop over to the website and there'll be just the instructions hanging there in space that they can refer to and then come back.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Because then we don't have to figure out where to put it in the
So
meeting and,
let's- Let me save this. So let's save this. So then we're back to the other question of, is it open still? Yeah, it is. Okay. The other thing is then this. So if we delete all of this,
I would either break the last paragraph into two, where you have the long space at the end after 1 minute each, or delete it and delete that big space and make it all one.
you want to make a public comment?
Okay,
So
I think that
this
was
is just,
good.
this would be something I'm reading.
Okay,
So I'm reading this.
okay.
So right before they start public comment, just as a reminder, because
Yes.
it is on the agenda. So good evening. My name is Melanie. I'll be serving as moderator tonight's meeting. For everyone listening to our town hall, the meeting meeting timekeeper.
Do you think he's gonna mind the demotion and title
did.
though?
Yeah, no, he won't mind. Has muted all attendees, will mute speakers when called upon to comment. If you are calling in by phone, you need to press 9 to speak. If you use the webinar number to log in, you will use raised hand feature to speak and be called on. If you don't see a raised hand, hit escape and go from full screen to raised hand option. During the meeting tonight, we will discuss the items listed on the meeting agenda in numerical order. There will be public comment for 10 minutes after each agenda item, 1 minute per speaker, right?
Yeah, I would change that to be consistent with what it says on the other thing. There you go.
If you want to make a public comment and you are attending by computer, click the raised hand option in the Zoom window. If you are attending by phone, you will need to press *9 on your dial pad.
If you want to make the A is missing, first line. If you want to make a public comment.
To make a public comment. Yep.
Is welcome supposed to be capitalized or no? First line at the very top.
Where?
Good evening.
First line.
and welcome. Yeah, it's fine.
No, first line. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Agree with you, Rhiannon. No, I agree with you.
Good
There you
evening.
go.
Now, should we put a comment there or should we just leave it good evening and welcome?
Good evening, welcome to the Northwest. I think it's okay.
All right.
Okay, because I'm just gonna read it. I'm not gonna post this.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is just for me to read. This is my script. For everyone listening to our town hall, the meeting timekeeper has muted all attendees and will unmute speakers when called upon to comment. If you're calling by phone, you need to press star 9 to speak. If you include webinar number to log in, you will use the raise hand. Right?
Yeah, but the goes before raise.
Yeah,
Raise the hand.
play, Melanie.
Raise the hand.
Use the raise hand feature to speak and be called on. If you do not see the raised hand feature,
Comma. Hit escape and go to full screen
to
to see the
raise hand
add
feature.
the raise hand option. Cool.
During the meeting tonight, we'll discuss the items listed on the meeting agenda in numerical order. There will be public comment for 10 minutes. After each agenda item, 1 minute per speaker. If you want to make a public comment and you are attending by computer, click the raise hand option in the Zoom window. If you are attending by phone, you will need to press star 9 on your dial pad. How does that sound?
That sounds good, Melanie.
Yeah, I like how this works.
Bueno.
Yeah, this works well as a script. I think.
So we're done. Oh my God, you guys.
This is fun. This has me more interested in participating in these.
I'm so glad.
I was gonna say, Rhiannon, how old are you? Not that it's
I'm
any business.
17.
Okay, so you're
Darn it.
very organized, and I work with and amongst government agencies a lot, and it seems like you have a good set of skills for that sort of stuff. I don't know if the work interests you, but if you have any interest in, sort of admin, public affairs, public service or whatever, it seems like you've got a good start. Like they always need people, because the public facing stuff really needs to be airtight. Like you need to be able to answer questions and deflect criticism and all that stuff politically, so that the organization runs.
Where do you live in, Rhiannon?
Hmm?
What area do you live in?
I live in the city of Lomita.
In Lomita.
They have a neighborhood council.
Well, they really don't.
They don't? Wait, what was the one?
No, they do. Yes, they
Oh, I
do.
think
Lomita
They're
does.
independent.
It's Harbor City.
it's
Harbor City,
yeah,
Harbor
it's Harbor
Gateway.
City I was thinking of. There's also the Mayor's Youth Council. Anna
Right.
Sophia did that one.
That's what I was thinking. Mary's Youth Council she could do for Lomita area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Do
also
you know about
chose
the
this.
Mayor's Youth Council?
No, I'm not very fond.
Google
I'm
it.
not too fond of it.
Actually,
I just decided to do San Pedro because that's where I go to school. I remember I heard about it from my government teacher.
So do you go to
Uh-huh.
school in San Pedro?
Yes, I do. I go to San Pedro High School.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Mhm.
that's good. Because then what I was thinking is, what is our age for run for neighborhood council?
for the
16.
youth seat or the
Eight.
regular seats?
It's 18, right? For the regular seat.
18 for the regular seat. We
For
just
the regular
filled
seat.
our youth
We
seat.
just
but,
filled our
you know,
student seat.
Mhm.
But when are you 18?
I just turned 17 in early September, so next year.
When you turn 18, when we have our elections, because we have our elections in April the next time around, but in 2 years we'll run another one. I mean, there's always the opportunities to run. You're smart enough.
Rhiannon may have other plans in 2 years.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I still
Okay,
have
well, do
time.
me a favor and just Google Mayor's Youth Council.
But that's city of LA.
We'd be happy to have you involved in some of the committees.
Yeah, and wherever it is you happen to be in a couple of years, just keep in mind that there's always stuff that needs to be done, and there will be a place for people who are focused and motivated and
Well, exactly, because she could help even attend outreach and just attend and help with stuff when we do events and stuff. We have Wild Fest and Emergency Prep event coming up probably in May. And we can use a lot of volunteers for that to help with it at Peck Park. It's going to be a huge event that myself and the sustainability chair are putting on. And so after this is all done, then we're gonna start developing that, and we're joining with Pet Park officials to do it, and the way it sounds, they're talking like they want to have a huge thing. So we're gonna have to try and get a lot of youth volunteers and volunteers to do stuff.
Now, when is it? When is this happening? Is this happening? Is it
That
in
will
May?
be in May, yeah.
I'll admit, I'm gonna say this right now. I originally joined this because this is part of a government project where I'm doing
Yeah,
volunteer
Mr.
hours,
Brunke.
and then
Yeah.
no, not Mr. Brunke, Mr. Tedesco.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I originally joined because it's like I have to do
You have
like
to-
7 hours of this and then write about it. But it's like with how much fun this is, maybe I might like dabble into this more often, attend more of these meetings even after the project. It's
Well,
just-
one of the
it's-
things that
Great.
makes these committees and meetings more effective and more interesting is that when people do show up with ideas and, are willing to do things, there's a lot of people in neighborhood councils are there because it's, there's a low bar to entry, but there's a critical mass of people, I think, especially at this board, who are there because they want to do something and they just want to network with other people who want to do something. It just makes it easier when you don't have to be the one to carry it all yourself.
Here, here.
It's definitely easier with more people because it's allows more ideas, allows better kind of just like, hey, I want to do X idea, and maybe there's people who want to add to it. Maybe there's like, oh, there's something you can change with X, Y, Z. And it's always interesting when it's especially cool when it's like it's people in power, and then there's also communicating directly with people like just average city people, and just like, hey, it's really cool.
Well, you have instant buy-in. The more people who are involved, the broader, it's like it communicates immediately. Like it's not just one person who thinks this is really important. It's 5 people or a dozen people or 100 people or whatever. And that that additional mass is important when you're trying to kind of get your message across.
Here, here.
Awesome. So I think we're done. And so on our next meeting for like I said, for like 30 minutes, we'll meet and just make sure we're good to go and nothing else has come up. And if
Okay.
not, then we'll meet and then we'll end the meeting. And
Excellent.
7th will be our big deal.
All right. Melanie, you've done a good job.
Yeah, this,
Really
You guys
quick.
did a good job. It took all of us because
Yeah.
there's no way I could have done this by myself. I'm really pleased with the way that this has gone down, and it's not going to be perfect, but I understand that.
no, it doesn't have to. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's
Yeah,
supposed
we
to
just
be
want to
fair.
give
Yeah.
community a chance to talk and ask questions and get
And
information.
I prepared myself for a few humdingers that might show up, and
That's the cost of doing business. I watched
Yeah.
the stuff at city council chambers last week, and it's like, okay, it makes everything we do look very, very
I
simple.
know. I was like, I watched that and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. If
And they
nobody
were
gets
cursing
dragged out, we
and
can
everything.
success.
It was bad.
Yes, it was. And what's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, it was bad, but honestly, it should be bad. It should be that bad, right?
Is there another one tomorrow?
Isn't there? I think they were talking about.
There's supposed to be 3 per week, and they keep kind of going back and forth because it's there was a couple of members had COVID, and I think they've had a problem meeting quorum because then between the people who are out with COVID and the people who
Aren't allowed to leave their houses because they've been
Yeah,
kept
exactly.
outside.
Making the numbers and then getting the meeting to proceed in an orderly fashion was a real challenge. So they're kind of touch and go, but they're supposed to be multiple meetings
But
per
even
week.
to get the audience to calm down so they could get the meeting started, that was a function in itself. I was like, oh my God.
The kind of
Well,
patience and
they're
composure
on-
they show justifies their class leading salaries, because I don't think I could do it.
They're on Zoom for the time being.
Yeah, that's right. I think I just saw that on the news.
And
Oh, really?
and they'll have Victor there to silence the crowd.
Everybody
need
needs a
Victor.
victor. Everybody
Yes.
needs a victor.
Cynically,
Well,
I
in this
think
case,
maybe
I don't know
they.
that the crowd needs to be silent.
I'm not saying it did happen, but if someone were to have concocted a COVID outbreak for the sake of pushing it into Zoom and therefore making the meetings at least technically possible, like so they could actually get some business done, that would be one way to do it.
Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, because otherwise it was just going to be, expletives and hurling chairs and whatever. So
Chloe?
Exactly.
Clay, you have your
Hey, I'm not sure if you called my name earlier. I just wanted to know that I was paying attention. It's just my microphone, the microphone on my laptop's kind of sucks.
That's
that's
all right.
I got your name. I
We
got it.
want, and we want to thank all the students who came
Yes.
tonight. Good to have you here.
Guys, we
Coming.
appreciate your
It
attendance.
was super fun participating. I didn't expect it to be as fun. I actually thought it was just gonna be just me being quiet over here, and then you guys were just talking, and then you guys called my name. I was like, oh, like it was actually a lot of fun.
Cool. Yay,
Being part of
Abby.
this.
Good.
Mel, stop the recording, Mel.
Okay, so anyway, we're gonna end the meeting, and you guys, this is awesome, and I will see you Friday. And Angela, hopefully you had a great time on your.
Thank you. I'll show you some pictures.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty, but
Thanks, everybody.
that's
And
it.
everybody, check your emails for the updated background. I think I have the one that'll work finally.
Thank you,
Okay,
Chris.
Okay,
that's
sounds
good.
good.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a nice
Bye.
week. Good night. Night, guys.